Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Mike Lonsborough, Grant Pollock. You know, I love driving into work and listening to the fan, but if I ever hear these commercials again, stay classy, Alberta, and Peter Marr, hello everybody, green
Hi!
I'm going to shoot my friggin' radio. That's all there is to it.
Hi, everybody!
I'm Peter Marr, and I love Pete, but that commercial drives me crazy.
You hear it every day.
Yeah. Hey, Harvey the Hound, go do your business elsewhere.
It's the way it is now. When you watch the same hockey games or the same networks that carry hockey games, you see the same commercial for a whole season.
Yes.
Drives you nuts.
Yeah, and in Canada, it's usually the same too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Grant, right now with the Calgary Flames, I don't think there's ever been a more low point in franchise history since they've come to Calgary. But at the same time, that might not be a bad thing because you want to get that top 3 draft choice.
The first topic, don't you think it was pretty bad in the late 90s? Was it not this bad?
Were they ever this? No, Grant, because they always seem to fail upward where they wouldn't get the top into the top few draft choices.
Yeah, it was pretty close in the late 90s. I think here's the way I look at it. On the ice, I think it's as bad as it's ever been.
Right.
Off the ice, it's still pretty good.
Sure.
Where in the late 90s, they weren't very good, and the business was bad too.
Yeah, fair enough.
So much so, they had to get a bunch of people in Calgary to save the Flames from going bankrupt or being sold. So maybe the team was slightly better then, but off the ice, it was in bad shape. But I have to agree, despite the success off the ice, how long that's going to take or last, on the ice, it's the worst it's been.
It's you're watching it and you just want the mercy rule to be coming into effect here and this season, so it puts everybody out of the misery from having to watch this.
Rob Kerr from The Fan had a great line. You know, one of the top draft picks is Nathan MacKinnon.
Yeah.
So he said he wants the Flames, or a lot of fans want the Flames to lose to get a good pick. He says there's no winning to get MacKinnon.
Good one. All right, Grant, more than ever though, more than ever, the Calgary Flames have to look at this situation and do something about it. Right now, I found it interesting through the trade deadline, everyone was comparing the Calgary Flames to the New York Islanders. And they were doing that just because these guys are inept at running a hockey program. These guys are inept at making a winner. And if we can puff up our sleeves and say, hey, well, we are in Calgary, our prime minister's from Calgary, we've got a great business, great economy, but we got a sucky hockey team. The thing about it, Grant, is Islanders have been bad for so long, but when people start to compare you to that, that's kind of a shady thing. And we can say, hey, 2004 we made a run, in 1989 we won it, but those are a long time ago now.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. The Flames have become an embarrassment around the NHL, not just for the hockey team, but for how this hockey team is run and the operation of the business side of it and on the hockey side of it. That, to me, is the most appalling thing, that people around the league look at how the hockey management is as a joke.
Yep.
As not the way you run it. Much like people looked at Charles Wang, who owns the Islanders, and how he runs the Islanders. It's similar to that, and that's not what you want to be compared to.
No, absolutely you don't.
It's embarrassing.
And Murray Edwards, money doesn't buy you hockey knowledge, and we don't know what goes on up there, Grant. But we do know Ken King and Murray Edwards run the business, and they do it as well as anybody. But more than ever, this team has to have a division: money making, hockey operations, and the hockey guys that they hire have to be in charge and have to know what they're doing.
That is the #1 thing that has to happen with the Calgary Flames. We can talk about losing all you want to get a high draft pick. We can talk about who should come and who should go. Until they change the culture of ownership and the presidency and how that is affecting the team, Mike, I don't care what you say about next year, nothing will change until they change that. And by that, I mean Ken King has to step aside in running the hockey operation. Stop pretending that you know who should be on a power play, who should be here, and who should be signed. Because until that changes, it's the same old crap with this team, and that's been a problem for a long time. Brent Sutter, former Flames head coach, now with the Red Deer Rebels owner, manager, and coach, was on Global TV this past week. Brendan Parker had an outstanding interview with him, and he said, The Flames have patched work and believe themselves to be a pretty good team just to get in and hope. That runs its course, and that is where we are right now. You can't do that very often. So Ken King and the ownership have pretended and hoped they were a good team. They got this guy, they got this guy, they kept on this guy, and now it's run its course. They have to butt out, get good hockey people. Is it John Weisbrod? Is it Jay Feaster?
Remains to be seen, really, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But really, let hockey, Harry Neale, he, you know, when I pack this career in, I will always think of Harry Neale as the great guru, the mentor for me on hockey. And you've heard him say this before, but I truly believe he was the first guy that I had heard say, owners own, managers manage, coaches coach, and players play. Sounds simple, we've heard it before, but it's true, Mike, and not every sport and every ownership group does that. And I think that is a major problem in going forward with the Calgary Flames that they have to solve.
Every time I think of Harry Neale, I'd get in some great conversations when you would bring him into Shanks or any place like that where we were doing our show, and he was great. But I do remember the first time I ever talked to Harry Neale, and I said, Harry, what's your policy after the game for interviews? He goes, how the fuck would I go? Ask my fucking PR guy.
He said that? Harry was an outstanding guy. But he also was the guy who knew how to run a hockey team because he had been through WHA, in the NHL, and saw it from the outside too. So when he says things like, he had a great sense of humor. But I think that's what the Flames have to adopt right now, Mike, because we can say who should come and who should go. But Ken King, I know you watch Outlaw Sports. I know he does. Every week. Please step back. Run that hockey operation, the business operation, I should say, as well as you have for the last 8 or 9 years. Please let your hockey people do it their way. Do not interfere. I've heard that Ken King can show up in a coach's room after a game talking to the head coach about what he should or should not have done in that game. That is uncalled for in business.
If he's going to continue that, change your name to Hellard.
Ha 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 ha!